Talk to Me in Korean의 안효진입니다. And I'm here with
현우 and
제 이름은 리차드입니다. 반갑습니다.
Ask Hyojin. 반갑습니다. Richard from
Hallyuback.
We'll put the link here so you
Oh,
make
there.
sure check it out. They have a lot of informative and fun videos, so make sure you check it out.
Especially if you like Korean dramas. Awesome. So we're going to talk about what, Hyojin?
We're gonna talk about marriage in Korea.
Oh.
I invited Hyunwoo and Richard because I am not married at the moment.
Not yet?
Not yet. So I'm gonna ask you guys a lot of questions.
So before we begin, did you get married here in Korea or in the States?
Yeah, Stephanie and I got married here.
Here,
Awesome.
you
So-
had the wedding ceremony here?
We had the wedding ceremony here, and it's very unusual that two American people get married in Korea. And so,
I mean, getting married here in Korea or registering yourselves as husband and wife, it's not very unusual, but having a ceremony here
Yeah.
might be unusual.
Without your family, or you invited your family over here?
yeah, we did not invite our family.
Oh, okay.
And that was because we got married kind of quickly, but we did have a ceremony on the same day that we registered. And
I
so we
see.
did have a nice sort of fairy tale day.
I see.
Aw.
Yeah, it was
That's
really
good.
nice.
That's good.
It was small.
I see.
Okay, so before we get to Richard's wedding and marriage, we are gonna talk about a little bit about how we get married here and maybe in America. We're gonna compare these two. And as far as I know, in Korea, it's more of a family business, while it is more for like
Individuals.
Richard. Yeah, Richard, you didn't even invite your family, even though you let them know and everything. But still, it's not for them. It's for you guys.
I see.
So
I think it
wanna
depends
talk-
on the family, but
Oh, okay.
you're onto something.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You're onto something. I mean, of course, in Korea, it's more important for the individuals who are getting married to each other, but it's probably equally important for the families too, because families, especially older parents, they see it, the marriage, as a reunion or just the first union of two families.
Yes.
So it's really a lot of burden on the couple, young couple too, actually.
Now, did you feel burdened when you got married?
Well, not like exactly burden, but like when I chose the woman of my life, when I decided that I wanted to get married to this girl, my wife now, it wasn't over. Like I had to persuade my dad, I had to actually talk to my mother. Is it okay?
Her mother or your mother?
My mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Then
is-
she will do the talk with her.
yeah, exactly.
parents.
Like it's like there's a lot of like persuading, a lot of waiting for approval kind of thing in Korea.
So
like
it's not like proposal and wedding. It's
Yeah.
not like that.
Exactly. It's not like that. I've seen countless couples who had to break up even though they're still in love with each other because their parents wouldn't really approve the wedding or the marriage. So it's more like family reunion. Why do I keep saying reunion? Family union than just the individuals getting married to each other, just starting to live together.
Let's just jump right into the question I have, which is probably one of the juiciest. Do they still have arranged marriages in Korea?
In some cases, yes. I don't know about the upper class people, super rich, like corporate owners, stuff like that. But some families actually do have arranged marriages for people who still haven't got married, like until they're like 40 years old, 45 years old, or something like that. And it's more like just introducing somebody
Yeah.
that the
Your
parents know.
parents setting up with you, someone
Yeah.
Okay.
that they know.
Before, the notion of arranged marriage was that the parents would be close to each other and then they would want their kids to get married to each other. But these days, it's like the children's opinions are also important. So you cannot really force your children to get
Marry
married.
someone that they
Yeah.
don't want to marry.
It's sort of like the parents arrange the date,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then the children make the decision.
Which
Yeah.
is called 선. You know 소개팅, right? 소개팅 is like a blind date.
Okay.
Usually set up by your friends, but if it's set up by your parents and you kind of know that you can get married with this person, that's 선.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
So you go to blind dates without any pressure, without anything that you have to worry about in terms of marrying this guy or girl. But when you go to a 선, it's the same thing as blind date, but 선 is just blind date with the assumption that you might actually
Get
decide
married.
to get married to this person.
Before the first date even happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like even from the first moment of 선, it can be like your head can be full of questions like, so what does this person do? can this person, like, like actually support me financially, or where does he live now? What do his parents do? What do her parents do? Things like that. A lot of
Okay.
calculations going on. So
Okay, so
yeah,
after
I hope that answers your question.
So after you decide whoever you want to marry, get married, so you have a lot of steps to go through before the actual wedding, right?
That's true.
For example,
Like.
like
I don't know how it's done in the States. You can tell me. After the guy usually proposes to the girl, what happens in the States usually?
It totally depends
Uh-huh.
on the couple, and I mean, there can be so many factors because we have lots of different cultures in the U.S. at this point.
Yeah.
but how about you?
I come from a family that usually has very large weddings.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then when my brother got married, he had a small wedding, so he sort of broke that tradition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this sort of breaking of traditions or changing of traditions is very common in the U.S. at this point. So
Yeah, I like breaking traditions a lot.
Yeah.
So,
it's tough to say what they do in America because they do everything.
Of
Yeah,
course, in Korea, it depends on person, couple, and family too. But if you're to talk about something that many people do,
yeah, something that is in common. After the guy proposes to the girl says, yes, I love you too, I want to get married to you too.
and then
The
they
next step is
introduce them.
they will do have two visits. One visit to the girl's parents, one visit to the boy's parents. It's usually the boy's parents first. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And then the parents say, okay, I like that girl, I like that guy, so let's meet his or her parents. And then that is called 상견례.
상견례.
It's difficult to
상견례.
pronounce.
네.
상견례. So 상견례 is done with two parents meeting at a dinner table in a nice restaurant. You have to actually reserve a table, because if you don't do 상견례 in a fancy formal restaurant, the other parents might think, okay, so is this family poor or something like that? It's a first formal gathering, so they kind of have high expectations for that. So there are 상견례 specific restaurants too, like that are customized for 상견례 events.
Wow.
You will see, like in the face of a big building, you will see 상견례, 돌잔치, like first birthdays of babies and things like that, those events. And then during that 상견례, the first dinner with two pairs of parents attending, the parents actually decide on what date you're going to get married.
Wow.
So you cannot
Whether
even-
or not they want you to decide the date.
Oh, that's true. So it can be either the parents saying, oh, okay, we don't mind, we like you guys, these are great people, you decide. Or the fathers usually, they pour each other a lot of drinks and then they say, next May. And then the girl's father
Is that
can
how
say,
it happened to you?
sort of. Oh, next
Oh.
May is too early. Next July. And then the guy's father can say, oh, next March. Something like that.
Wow.
So
It's
back
like
and forth.
bargaining.
Bargaining, like, tug of war, things like that. And then
Interesting.
the final date, it's either decided on the date or it's just decided like in continuation of the talk on the date.
One of the things you said sounds similar to the U.S. That is the parents meeting after maybe the parents have met the possible bride or the possible groom, but the parents deciding the date
It's
probably would not happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like on this 15th of March or something like that, like mid-May would be good, like general suggestion of the day.
Interesting. So after the 상견례, you actually started preparing the wedding.
Yeah,
and
that's
the
true.
marriage.
Yeah. So there are lots of things that you have to prepare, especially in Korea. Like until you get married, most people, not most, but a lot of people still live with their parents. So it's their first time living on their own. So they need a house, they need to
furniture, they need-
furniture, but buy everything
Yeah.
from scratch. So a lot of purchases are made. And the funny thing is, usually it's the girl or the girl's family who buy everything. Like all the
Everything.
furniture, all the
Electronics.
household, like electricity
Wow.
products.
Mm-hmm.
And on the opposite side, the boys' parents have to buy a house, like at least prepare a house for the new family.
I am very ignorant about this kind of thing, but I hear a lot of words like 혼수, 예단, and
Okay, I don't want to go into too many details about this, but just
Okay.
honsu refers to the furniture, household, electricity,
Electronics.
like electronics that you buy. The girl's
okay.
family buys. That's honsu, and yedan is like a present to the guy's parents. It can be either like a whole set of dishes that you can use in your house, like fancy, like 30-piece dish set, something
Which
like
is
that,
for the parents.
for the guy's parents. Or it can be like a whole new set of blankets for your bed sheets and stuff like that for the bedroom of the parents. So it can be anything, or even the guy's parents can maybe pick something that they want as yedan. It's a present.
What if they pick something really, really expensive?
But there are like some choices that are already kind of decided by the society, general public. Like, okay, this is appropriate for a yedan. A car is not appropriate for a yedan. Like a diamond is not appropriate for a yedan. So that's what happens. And another thing that happens is usually the girl's mom gives the guy's mom some cash.
Cash.
Yeah, some cash to get some stuff, to buy some stuff like for the wedding, and
Like dress or
yeah,
jewelry.
things like that, like the rings and stuff, because the guy has to buy all the rings. But the tradition is, I mean, I don't want to even call this tradition because it's not really like traditional traditions. It's just something that people.
It's like modern tradition.
Yeah, modern tradition, something that people do. Half the cash will actually go back to the woman's family. Just
Now that's
to-
confusing.
Yeah.
just to show, okay, I acknowledge your efforts
Wow.
to provide for the preparations, but we don't need all this money. We're going to give you back half of it. So the funny situation, a possible funny situation is when the girl's mother kind of expects half back, but then the boy's mother does not give half back. It's
That
a horrible.
happens?
I don't know.
Well, it's got to happen sometimes.
sometimes, yes.
You know, I mean, maybe people, it just slips their mind. They intend to give it back and they don't, or then
they
there's
just
going to
didn't
be resentment if she expects it and doesn't get it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's the beginning of the family's union. And
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how it goes, and then
It sounds complex.
it's very complex.
I mean, I'm trying to follow what you're
Yeah.
saying. We're sitting together on the couch, and I've already lost.
So is there anything that is similar to that in
Like
the American
gifts?
culture or in your family's culture?
It's not as defined as the way you're explaining it.
That's
the
a
way
good
it happens
word.
here.
It's very defined here.
Yeah.
You have to follow like certain specific steps. As a teenager, when I heard about all these things that I had to do, I totally ignored them. I would laugh at them. Mom,
Because it
what are
wasn't
you-
important to you.
Yeah, it wasn't important to me. I thought I would just be able to ignore all these like stupid steps. And I would be like, Mom, what are you doing? That's so stupid. But then when I was actually getting married to my wife, I knew that, okay, so it's okay for me to ignore all these things. But what about all these 30 other relatives who are kind of watching what happens? 40 other relatives. I don't care, but my mom does. My father does.
Well, my father has always told me that if it's possible, I don't want to do any of this like stupid, traditions. But there's always strings attached. If the other parents are okay with it, it's not just his opinion that matters.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So it's
Right.
complicated.
And one day you want to get married, right?
Yes.
Is that a silly question?
No.
No.
I think more and more commonly, a lot of Korean girls are saying, I don't want to get married. But still, it's very, natural to ask
So
someone in
I
in our,
am
age group.
27 in Korean age. I'm 26 internationally. So
No, you were 27 last year. So you're 28 this year.
Yeah, I am 28 this year, Korean age.
That's not what you said,
26.
though.
Rewind.
Are you okay?
No, you said you're 27 in Korean age.
28.
Okay, 28.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Anyways.
I heard you.
We caught it.
Anyways, I'm 28, and this is kind of like the age people started getting married, like for girls. So a lot
That's
of
what I've
whenever
heard.
I meet my relatives during the 추석 or 설날 holidays, they're like, "Oh, 결혼할 때 됐네. 결혼해야지."
It's about time you
Yeah.
got married.
A lot of pressures, like my mom's and my father's. Whenever there's a kids on the TV, 나도 저런 손자가 갖고 싶다.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started for me. I'm in that age.
I think right around the time that I might have started feeling pressure was when I came to Korea.
Mm-hmm.
I was 32 years old.
Okay,
see.
for guys probably.
Yeah,
30 or 32.
Yeah. I got married when I was 32 in Korean age, and my wife was 27 in Korean age. So I was just getting married around the right time, the average age. So I didn't have to put up with a lot of pressure from other people. But my friends who are just starting to get married, like this year, at age 35 or 6, they had to actually deal with a lot of questions, phone calls, and things like that.
Even phone calls?
Yeah.
They call you and ask.
I mean, your relatives don't really call you, but they talk to your mom, and your mom is kind of so stressed out. I talked to your aunt, and her son is getting married. When are you getting married? You know.
Luckily, I have an older brother,
Mhm.
so before he get married,
You're safe.
yeah, I am a little safer, I would say. So we have like 산경래 and 혼수 and 예단.
Uh-huh.
That's like all these crazy complex things
Yeah.
that's happening in Korea.
The
But how about
exchanges.
the wedding itself? Is it too different from what
Have you attended Korean weddings before?
I've been to a couple Korean weddings, yeah.
Okay.
I have a question for you before I talk about my experiences at Korean weddings, and that is it common, when I was coming up here in the train, I saw out the window, wedding palace.
Oh,
Yeah?
yeah.
So is this a common place for most people to get married here?
So actually, we're gonna talk about that. The venue for the wedding. Usually, there are hotels, of course. Hotels. You get married at hotels or maybe church.
Yeah, but most people get married at the wedding palace,
Palace.
wedding palaces, or wedding hall.
Yeah, wedding hall.
Yeah,
Which is a building specifically
For
for
wedding.
ceremonies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wedding ceremonies, and
This is what would be very different from us.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we have that at all.
yeah. I mean, it's,
Church, yes, and in the park or at the beach or something like that, but
I think that's better personally.
Okay.
Because here in Korea, I mean, like many other things in this society, it has been industrialized. It has been kind of standardized too much, and wedding halls, they are just like, they feel like factories.
They
Like,
do.
you know, stamping out all these newly married couples. And the wedding that I recently attended, like just a month ago or less than a month ago, the wedding was supposed to happen at 1:30 p.m. I got there at 1 o'clock with all my relatives, and the previous wedding was still going on until 1:30 p.m.
Wow.
So the
In the same location.
in the same location, in the same venue, same alleyway, same room. And the wedding hall staff was actually trying their best to actually kick out everybody to hurry up, the next couple has to get married. And of course, the actual couple that were getting married, next, who I went to see, they were okay with it. Like, you know, people were there to see them, they were happy about it, they're in no hurry. But I mean, they were in no hurry because they were the last wedding couple of the day. But the couples who are kind of in the middle of everything, they have to rush the wedding so much that they don't know what happened. So I don't really like that, but wedding halls are, like, I guess used by, I don't know, like roughly 70%, 80% of people who get married.
That's a lot of
That's
couples.
a lot. And the wedding halls are not cheap to rent. So you have to pay a lot of money either upfront or you have to pay per person, pay per visitor. So it's a big business. It's a huge industry.
It sounds like whoever gets to go last has to pay more
Ah,
because they get a little less time. They get a little less
Exactly.
pressure to rush through the ceremony.
I mean,
But I don't know. I mean,
I thought you were talking about
The visitor.
the 축의금 part. Like
yeah.
you kind of pay cash when you visit a wedding hall, like a wedding ceremony.
yeah, no, not that.
Yeah, okay. Because when you get married, like last among your friends, all your other friends got married and you attended all of their weddings and you paid cash to them.
Right.
But then they're busy with their baby, they're like, busy with their family, they can't attend, so you don't get all the money back.
Oh,
So
that's
that's what
sad.
I thought you were referring to. Something similar.
So what we just talked about is 축의금, which is the money
Yeah.
that you give to the newlywed couple. In Korea, it's not like you, of course, sometimes give the newlyweds some wedding gifts
Yeah.
if you're close to the couple, but normally we just give the money,
Yeah.
which is called 축의금.
Because
This is very similar in the U.S.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah, people give money on the day of the wedding.
Is
Usually.
it kind of, is there a certain amount that is appropriate?
I think it's similar to here. 50 or 100, or if depending on, you mentioned upper class earlier in the video, it depends on the family.
Yeah.
I mean, 200 or 500 or 1,000
Yeah.
is not completely uncommon.
Yeah.
It could be possible.
Yeah, in Korea, especially in Seoul, since everybody lives like kind of within a radius of like maybe 20 kilometers, it's an excuse. It's a bad excuse to say, oh, you're too far away. You have to go. So it's common to see easily like 300 people attending a wedding. And 300 people attending a wedding, and you have to pay for their meal. You have to kind of pay for the place. So here it's usually, the average is like 5만 won, 50,000 won. If it's your relative, maybe 100,000 won. If you're a student, you're not like, making money, maybe 30,000 won is okay.
But if it's your parents' friends, close friends, they give you like
a lot more.
Yeah,
like,
a lot more.
Yeah, 500,000 won, like 1,000, a million. I was gonna say 1,000. Do the math. 1,000,000 won. Yeah.
That's quite similar then.
Yeah, I see. Okay, that's not something surprising then. So remember, the next time you attend a Korean person's wedding, Korean friend's wedding, you might be expected to fill the envelope with some cash, with some Korean banknotes. It's really important to write your name on it on the envelope, because a lot of people came to 450 people came to my wedding, and my wife and I and my parents found 10 envelopes without any name on it.
Oh.
I didn't know who these were from. They were like various amounts, but I just didn't know, because on the day of the wedding you're just too busy and your mind is like kind of scattered. You don't know who came to the wedding. Like if somebody apologized later, like, oh sorry, I couldn't make it to the wedding, like
Don't
I didn't
do
even
that.
know. I didn't even know. But like, so by reading the envelope, like the names, so make sure you write your name on it, make sure that you just leave your trace. I was here,
So as a guest, you go to the wedding and you pay first usually, and they'll give you this little like a coupon kind of thing,
lunch coupon.
Which will get into the restaurant after the wedding. And you get the ticket, and then you go see the bride or the groom. Usually groom is there there when bride is like secluded a little and taking pictures, and then you go see the wedding, and which takes about like 30 minutes. It's really quick, and then you take photos with everybody, and then you go to the restaurant. The whole process takes an hour, 2 hours?
Less than an hour.
It's really quick. Everything goes really quickly, and we don't really like. What do you think? Is it like really westernized wedding, or?
It's rushed. To compare with the U.S., usually people will spend all day at one wedding. And so the ceremony, if the ceremony's at 2 or 4 o'clock, that ceremony will go for an hour. But then there's some break in the middle, and then there's reception, party, starts at 6 or 8 o'clock, but then that goes all night.
We don't have the reception part, but we do have like a restaurant built in the same wedding hall, wedding venue, and everyone goes there and eat together, and it's like really, really crowded.
It's crowded, and then after the wedding ceremony is over, after all the photo shoots are done, the couple will change into their hanbok, and then they will come and meet everybody while they're eating, like
a parade.
A parade.
Right.
So it's a bit awkward, and at the same time it's exciting. And like one thing that we didn't talk about before all the wedding ceremony happens, if you are going to a Korean friend's wedding and you're close to the friend, you can actually choose where to give the cash.
축의금.
Like 축의금, because
normally there's a table, so you can give the cash to the
reception desk.
Whoever there. But if you're close to the bride or the groom, you can give the cash to. There's a person, usually bride's close friend. You can give
usually
the money.
A girl with a big handbag full of money. And they're always looking for people like to who are looking for them. So you kind of guess, you make eye contact. She's going to be the only person who's trying to make eye contact with people. So she's usually by the bride's waiting room, and you give the cash to that person directly rather than going to the reception desk, because all the money that is going to the reception desk is like used to pay for the rent, pay for the food, things like that.
Really?
Yes.
This I did not know.
Not rent, like the wedding hall.
Right.
Yeah, wedding hall.
Fee. Or
all the fees, and then whatever is left is probably divided by the parents, and then they're just taken by the parents. But whatever money goes to that friend, that girl friend, is going to the couple, and they can actually spend the money on their honeymoon. We got a lot of money like that, and we were
side money
from the friend, right?
From the friend,
Ooh.
and we
the
were
side
able
money
to,
is what you want.
Enjoy that spending money on our.
I learned about this at Hyunwoo's wedding.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know about it before.
I don't remember who did that. Maybe.
Young's your wife's sister, little
okay,
sister.
yeah. So I can trust her. So,
Yeah.
so she was carrying this big bag full of cash.
So basically, Korean wedding is kind of like westernized.
Mhm.
So we wear white wedding dress, and guys wear tuxedo, right?
Yep.
And then there's a person. We don't really have preachers have their speech.
Mm.
Maybe depending on your religion, but yeah, it's pretty much westernized, but not quite yet. But we don't have bridesmaid. We don't have a best man. We don't have that.
It's kind of like attempted westernization.
Yeah.
The Korean version. It's
Yeah.
still Korean, but it's not Korean either.
But we do have this thing that's very Korean.
Mm-hmm.
All the couples do, which is
Pebek.
pebek.
It's like one part of the traditional Korean wedding. It's just you go to this little room, pebek실.
After your ceremony.
Everything's over. People are busy eating. You just disappear into this little room. It's like a photo op. Like you go there, you change into like the guy changes into a king's clothes, king's like
Old
outfit.
king's
Yeah.
hanbok.
I had to wear this crown like hat. It wouldn't fit on my head.
He's gonna put the photo in right here.
Yes, it was like too small for me. It was crazy. Anyway, and then
What do you do there?
Yeah, well, I want to see that photo.
it's
I've never heard of that with the.
You should
I know
bring
about
the
the hanbok,
photo.
but-
We should put the
Okay,
photo
yeah,
here.
sure. And then there you see all these traditional like ancient style Korean snacks, like nothing fancy, nothing like made in factory. It's like fruits, like dried fruits, rice cakes. Things like that, rice snacks, things like that, kind of decorated in a pretty way. And then the most memorable thing that I remember is my father and my mother throwing some jujubes and
Dates?
some, and also chestnuts at us. And
And you just
Was that when you were leaving the?
no. When we were kind of there, like sitting
in the special room.
in the special room,
Okay.
and my wife, she was supposed to catch as many of those thrown at her with her apron part, like
Okay.
of her hanbok, and then that would actually symbolize how many children we would have. And
How
according
many?
to that, we would have
Wow.
17 children. But anyway, so that happens, and there are lots of photo shoots. Like I gave my wife some soju, and she would drink that like really cutely, and then the photographer would take a photo of that. So that's pebek, just a small part of the traditional thing. And then what's important is for the couple, on top of all the money that you get from the secret agent friend, the relatives, your aunts, your uncles, they actually wait until you're doing that, and they give you spending money for your honeymoon.
Oh.
So you easily get 300,000 won, 500,000 won from your close like cousins.
Yep.
And then you're like happiest person in the world because of everything that is happening. Everybody's like giving you money. Everybody's like clapping for you. But then it just lasts for an hour.
Oh.
It goes quick, but you get a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
No, yeah, but it's not like you're earning money. You've actually given all that money out to all these other previous weddings before. It's just coming back to you. It's like money in circulation. So if
That's kinda
everybody
sad,
stopped doing
though.
that, nobody would be in deficit, you know. Korean, you can go ahead and check those out. But if you're the type of person who likes to go to the library and borrow books, and if you would like to do the same with our ebooks in